Join myself and the dogs on this 7-mile circular route, starting here in Meriden, the historical centre of England. We're going to walk back up to the M6 where we left the last leg of the Heart of England Way, and then join the Heart of England Way and walk back down here to the village of Meriden. Here we are, the ancient wayside cross that has stood in the village for over 500 years and by tradition marks the centre of England. So this obelisk is in remembrance of the cyclists who gave their lives in the Second World War, and is in the village green very close to the cross that marked the centre of England, or the old centre of England. So we're just walking through this housing estate as we head out of Meriden. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we're just leaving the village of Meriden. We've walked just through some nice residential areas onto this B road, and we are now crossing over the bypass, and hopefully we'll be out into some fields soon. We've walked down that path next to the bypass, and here we go across the fields. The Heart of England Way is a 102-mile linear route starting in Cannock Chase and finishing in the Cotswolds at Burton on the water. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I'm walking it in 32 stages so that I can do a circular loop each time. Park means I can park the car, do part of the Heart of England Way, and then head back on different footpaths, different routes. And it's a really interesting way to see part of the centre of England. I've gone through Lichfield, seen Lichfield Cathedral, walked through a lot of beautiful farmland like this. We've been put off track a little bit by HS2 at times, not on the Heart of England Way but on some of the circular return routes. And we're now heading sort of near to Coventry, and then we'll keep heading down past the villages of Henley and Arden, Ulster, and as I say, we'll then head down into the Cotswolds, which I'm particularly looking forward to. So I hope you're going to enjoy following myself and the dogs on these walks, and also because I'm putting the GPX file in the video description, I really hope you might try these walks for yourself. Just download the GPX file onto whichever app that you use and follow the path. Isn't this beautiful? Early spring day. We are so lucky with the access, the footpath network we have in this country. There's no sheep or cattle in the fields, so the dogs are off their lead. Bailey, you can probably hear, puffing right next to me, and Danny checking out the hedge lines. Go on, this way. Okay, there is a plane overhead, but the bird song's wonderful. So just past a house and this very neatly stacked barn. And then it's clearly a well-walked route because the path is very obviously marked for us, heading up into the woods. Gosh, these woods are really beautiful. I think this would be a nice place to walk on a hot summer's day because I think you'd get shade from these magnificent pine trees. But even in early spring, oh, I can still hear that plane overhead. But bird song and very happy spaniels. For those of you that don't know, Danny, the black and white, probably working Cocker Spaniel, is a rescue, and 6 months ago he had never seen grass, let alone jumped in a pond, let alone sniffed and run and smelt. And Bailey, who is my old boy, nearly 10, he came to me, I rehomed him through a mutual friend, and he's absolutely the best dog in the world. I know everyone says that about their dogs, but he really is. I mean, he's just brilliant. He's by my side 24/7 when he's not in a muddy pond. Bailey, come on. Coming out of the woods, turning left onto Kimwolsey Lane. Looks quite a quiet lane, but I'm going to keep the dogs on leads just in case. I'm going to head down this track past Church Tree Barn. I think we can probably let Danny off. That waggy tail. So, according to my research, there should be a footpath just up here, which will take us around the back of those houses. Yeah, here we go. Now, there are sheep in that paddock, so I'm just going to pop the dogs on the leads until we get past. These sheep aren't afraid of dogs. Obviously I've got my boys on the lead, but they're very curious. So that is the M6. I've just left the boys there so I could film it. And this means we are back on the Heart of England way. Ooh, as you can see by my red face, it's fairly warm, even though it's a bit overcast. I have got a jumper on. But we are back on the Heart of England way, so I'm hoping we won't have any tricky styles. Just where we passed the sheep and the emus and the donkeys, etc. There were some Highland K's, but I didn't film those. There was a couple of really tricky styles, which Danny, because he's light, is easy to lift over. Bailey's quite heavy and not keen on being lifted up, but he did let me, bless him. But I'm sure he'll be feeling it, having been chucked over some styles. So hopefully now we're back on the way, it'll be smooth sailing. So we just stepped onto this road. I'll put the name of it below, and we're just going down the road very slightly, and then it looks like pretty much where those cars are that we turn off. So actually it wasn't even very far down that road. Here we are, and we're just going to go the other side of this hedge and then along the hedge that way. M6 is definitely fading into the background now, and to think it was only a few fields ago when we were at the bridge looking over it. I can just about hear it in the distance, but now we're along the edge of this wood, farmland, beautiful England. So we're turning right here. Just wanted to point out to you the Coventry Way sign, which is a, I'm going to say 40-45 mile circular route around Coventry that we are going to do at some point. But for now we're heading right across this field over that little footbridge. We're still sharing a bit of the route with the Coventry Way. Just going to go down this quiet lane, not for long, and then we'll turn right and onto a footpath. Turn right past the gnomes. sunken road. There's going to be bluebells here in a month or two. There's another beautiful wood. I'm pretty certain that these are going to be bluebells. Well, they are bluebells, they're going to flower, which would make this wood really spectacular as spring really comes later on. You see what a dry winter we've had comparatively. The fact that this boardwalk is not needed apart from this little bit here, as demonstrated by Bailey. Going through another little thicket of woods, another little footbridge. We're only about 2.5 kilometres from Meriden now. I think this might have been one of the nicest walks we've done when you take into account both the Heart of England Way part of it and the loop we did to get up to the M6 to rejoin the way. I mean, the weather helps. So you just need to be careful coming down that lane because there's no pavement. And then we're turning onto, I don't know what this road is called. Yes, I do, Eves Green Lane, which looks like it'll be a bit quieter. On the way out we went over the bypass, and on the way back we're going under the bypass. This is the Meriden bypass. Not too far from the end now. I can't see a Heart of England sign on there, but we're turning left just to get off this lane. But given the amount of ivy, it might be under there. Still no Heart of England Way signs, so I assume we're doing the right thing. We're just going to go through this hedge gap and take a right. This is probably going to be the last section where the boys can be off, because I think fairly soon we join the road back into the village of Meriden, past the pub as well. We may stop for a drink. So making sure they enjoy their last little bit of running around free. Okay, let's go. We are going to join Old Road, and that way is back to the village green. So the Heart of England Way goes up those steps and carries on that way. We're obviously going back to where we parked the car, down that way.